Dear Journal, welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On today's journal entry, it's going to be the same as yesterday's. It's going to be the same as tomorrow's. It's going to be the same as a week from now. This hobby's broken. I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't care. Love, XO, PK, PS, duh. Hobby. That is my my journal entry for today. Another one of those. Sometimes you gotta bring the old hat out and you just gotta rant about nothingness. Is the hobby broken? I don't know. Is the hobby going through a midlife crisis? I don't know. Is PK going through a midlife crisis? I don't know. Instead of maybe saying I don't know to a lot of these questions, the answers might be maybe. Maybe the hobby's going through just its midlife crisis. That's it. Maybe we're just going, there used to be a joke I would make on this channel that a lot of these hobbies were well established. Sports, baseball, all these, trading card hobbies. And then, Pokemon was no longer in its infancy. It was just in its teenage angst years. You remember I used to say that verbiage? Angst. It was teenage angst. Well, now I don't think we're in the teenage angst years anymore. I think Pokemon's just going through a little bit of a midlife crisis. And the reason why is because it's the same as when you grow up. When you grow up, you have the same midlife crisis. When you look back on stuff, you can't remember the fine details. Everything is just glimpses, pieces, traumatic life events, meaningless life events. You don't remember the nuances of the day. You just remember the highlights. Even like the saddest moments of your life, the happiest moments of your life, you just remember little teeny snapshots, of time. That's all you remember. You don't remember the drive there. You don't remember the drive home. You don't remember what you ate for breakfast that day, that major event happened. You don't remember what you ate for lunch. You don't remember what you ate for dinner. You don't remember every single person you interacted with that day. You don't remember every conversation. You don't remember all the nuances of so much of your life. Because at the end of the day, even though you might look back on a certain day at a certain moment in your life and you go, think back to a single moment. Whatever is an important moment to you, whether it is your happiest moment, whether it is your saddest moment, whether it's you doing your biggest achievement you've ever done, or you unfortunately being at a funeral of a loved one that you wish you could have back. Well, out of that entire day, what do you remember? You probably only remember very, very small snapshots, and you don't remember that whole day. You probably don't remember what you ate for breakfast on any of those days. Maybe it's your wedding day. Maybe it's a happy day. What did you eat for breakfast that day? You probably don't know. Or do you remember the drive there? Do you remember the drive back? Do you remember what it was like to brush your teeth? Do you remember how long it took you to take a shower? No, because all these things just get lost. Even though that day itself, you might remember it very clearly, and you might even remember down to these weird nuances. You might remember in that exact moment how you felt, what the air smelled like, what the breeze was like, what the wind was like, what the temperature was like when you live in that exact moment. But pull yourself back from certain moments, you forget it. And that's just pretty much what a midlife crisis is. Because you end up just realizing, oh no, I'm getting older. And all these memories and all these experiences I've had in my life are not really memories or crazy experiences. They're just little teeny snapshots that you've bundled, these little teeny snapshots of just very small moments in your life, and you've created that into all your memories. People always say, I got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old at home. And every day we try to, do stuff with them, whether it's playing hide and go seek, whether it's bringing them outside, whether it's playing cards with them. And how many memories do you have before you were 5? You might have a few, but they're not a lot. They're just small little snapshots of memories you have. And they might just almost be to the point where they're fleeting now, and you have to reach back deep into your memories and pull out those thoughts. Well, the same thing is with same thing with that with your midlife crisis where you have to look back and you have to try really, really hard to remember stuff. Well, guess what Pokemon's going through right now? Pokemon is also going through its own midlife crisis. You have to now go back and remember how things were, and you have to pull it out, and you have to remember, what was it like at this moment? What was it like when the Chillin' Rain and the Fusion Strikes and the Evolving Skies and the Battle Styles got reprinted? What was it like in that moment? And you might have a little teeny snapshot of it. But that's it. That's all it boils down to, is a nice little small snapshot. There's nothing more to it. And unfortunately, that is just this hobby. People look back on stuff, they don't remember anything. Normally you learn from your mistakes, you learn from the past, you learn from history, because if you know anything about history, if you know anything about the past, for those that do not learn from the past, those do not learn from the mistakes of the past, they are doomed to do those mistakes again. If you don't learn from your past, you are absolutely just doomed. That's it. You are doomed to repeat those things. And that's it. The past will repeat itself. And the funny thing about the past, there's a lot of past, but the most recent past, we talk about the most recent boom, a lot of people got burned. It doesn't change the fact that how many people came out of that boom and they weren't hurt. Maybe they were a little scratched. Maybe a little black and blue. Maybe they had a little bump on their head. Maybe they got hit on their little melon a little bit too much. Maybe they got a little bit of amnesia. Maybe they got a little bit of CTE. Just a little concussion. Just enough to sprinkle in a little bit of forgetfulness. But they still got out of it. Yeah, they had their bumps and bruises. And man, they are stronger now than they ever were. And they probably wouldn't trade those times in the hobby. They wouldn't trade them for anything. Well, why would they trade it for anything? It made them the person that they are. It made them the collector that they are today, the flipper that they are today, the investor that they are today. You know, one of the big things about this hobby are just the barriers. Oh, the barriers. We always hear about the barriers of entry. And man, I watch it every day. The barriers of entry for new people re-entering this hobby. Barriers that you just take for granted. Sending out their first PSA submission. That is a barrier of entry for a lot of people. It's just a hurdle to get through. As simple as what happens if the post office loses my package. From talking to people who sell millions of dollars worth of Pokemon a year, ship tens of thousands of Pokemon packages a month. I ship $1 million worth of I will ship in 2025, I will ship $1 million worth of Pokemon product. Every week, I ship tens of thousands of dollars sometimes in Pokemon product in order to get to that $1 million, which I will ship in 2025. And the post office deals with every single one of those items. And yes, there will be a little loss along the way. As is true with anything in life, there will always be a little bit of loss. But for the most part, it won't get lost. But that's just the hurdle that people get to. Because there's sometimes you could have their entire collection wrapped up in that submission. You could have their entire childhood binder wrapped up in that submission. And but going back to this hobby's broken, I told you when you look back on stuff, you're only going to see little small, clips, little small tidbits. Those are only your thoughts. Those are only your memories. Sure, some of the memories might be a shared memory with a small group of people. But as you get older and you look back and you hang out with your friends and you try to recall one of those memories, well, everybody's little detail about that memory is a little bit different. You remember it happened in one way. Your buddy remembers it happens a little bit different. And then your other buddy remembers it happened a little bit different. And maybe for one of them it was okay, one of them it was good. But for you, you've put it on this pedestal now and you remember this memory as if it was something that it wasn't. And for whatever reason, you've built it up to maybe something that it never should have been in the first place. And when you talk to your other friends, they're downplaying in a sense, but you just remember everything so differently. Well, same thing with this hobby. When people look back on stuff, some people remember stuff a lot differently than other people. And it's how, certain people in this hobby navigated the hobby during certain times. For a lot of people, the crash, which was 21, 22, was one of the best times in the hobby for me. It finally gave me an opportunity to do what I've been waiting to do, which was just acquire stuff. I made videos talking about now is the acquisition phase. I made videos saying now will be the time in the hobby that the most money is made or lost. And the whole purpose of that video was, it was right when the market started to do this. We started to go in a down tick, and there was a lot of buying opportunities. But remember, when I tell you there's a lot of buying opportunities, you can't just have a buyer without a seller. You need two people to be a part of that transaction. And that's why I said the most money will be made or lost in that 6-month timeline. Because the people buying would be making the most money, and the people that were selling into that downturn, into that dip, they would lose all their money and they would never get it back. Now, thank Arceus, the hobby has proved me right. The hobby has proved a lot of us right. A lot of us that didn't give up. A lot of us that believed that as I walk through the valley of the $79.95 booster box, I fear no evil. And it rewarded us to a level that maybe a lot of us don't deserve. You know, you ever think about that? Maybe we just don't deserve it. Maybe you can say you do deserve it. A lot of times I don't think I deserve the luckiness that has been bestowed upon me, blessed upon me by this hobby. It's changed my entire trajectory of my life and changed my entire career path. I'll let you guys know a little news. So Saturday, we're going to do a base set booster box break, right? If you guys don't know, on Fanatics Live, me and Mr. Dan Catch'em Collectibles, yes, that Dan, the Dan that's going to be way too tall for this grandma's basement right here, he will be sitting right next to me, whether he's sitting right here, whether he's sitting right here, or whether he's sitting in the captain's chair. Yes, Dan will be here, sitting in the grandma's basement, and we will be live on Fanatics, ripping a base set booster box. And what an awesome journey it was to get there. And I talked about it a little bit on my last live. But, yeah. It's, hobbies changed my life. I told you guys I was thinking about quitting my job. And, I put my 2 weeks in. Put my 2 weeks in a 6-figure job. I got 1 week left. Friday, tomorrow, will be 1 week in. So from last Thursday's live to the day after, so the day after I made that live, I put my 2 weeks in. Worked my whole life. Worked every minute of every day. I already told you guys my backstory. If you didn't watch that, you could go back, watch that live. My entire journey as a professional, going to college. Well, first starting off working oil spills to see the money that was in oil, to going to school for a degree, to work in the oil fields, to coming back home, to work a job in consulting. If I made it to 2016, that would have been 20 years. I would have worked for 20 years. Worked my whole life to get to where I was. And I put my 2 weeks in on Friday, and on Monday, they brought me in, and they offered me everything I ever wanted. They offered me the title I wanted. They offered me everything. They offered me the responsibilities. They offered me everything that I could have wanted. They put it right there on the table. My manager, my vice president, the vice president wrote up an entire job description of what my new role would be, just to stay with the company. And they wrote a role for me that was literally everything I ever thought I wanted. It was everything I ever wanted. Literally all the hard work that I had ever done in my life would have paid off at that exact moment. That exact moment in time, which was put my 2 weeks on Friday, so Monday this week. So today, at the time of recording this video, is Thursday. On Monday, I sat in a conference room, and they gave me a piece of paper that had everything I ever wanted on it. And I said no. Think about that. I said no to everything I ever thought that I wanted. Because the whole time I was doing something different. It wasn't what I really wanted. What I really wanted was just deal with Pokemon cards. Shout out to PokeFun. Appreciate the 10 gifted membership. We got number one mod in the game, Drew, gifting the 20 PK memberships. PokeFun, number one mod, Drew. You guys are the best. But, yeah. Put my 2 weeks in. It's what I thought I wanted my whole life, but it wasn't. It wasn't. This is what I wanted. To go behind the camera, to talk, to open up packs, to grade my cards, to buy my cards, to sell my cards. Man, what a weird trajectory we went. Big shout out to Tap. Tap, I appreciate you, buddy. Tap dropping the 10K PK memberships as well. You guys are too kind. But, yeah. Who would have thought? Now, this is where life comes full circle at you, right? This is where life gets you. I just told you, when you look back on stuff, you only remember it as a small glimpse and small snapshots. And when I look back on this hobby, you know, I still remember my first pack of Pokemon cards I ever opened. It was a Shadowless pack, believe it or not. I didn't know what Shadowless was at the time. First card I ever pulled was an Arcanine. And I thought it was just so cool because it had 100 HP and had an 80 attack. And I thought it was like this super strong card. I don't even remember what the non-holo rare was, but I do remember that the Arcanine was in there. And I thought it was... I didn't understand cards, but my friends were like, "Oh, that's a really good card. Look at the HP. Look at the attack." And I didn't know. But I remember that. I remember where I was on that day. I remember whose house I was over. I remember how I got that pack of cards. I remember everything about it. Why is that? Why? I just told you, but I can't remember what I ate for breakfast that day, or I can't remember anything. But you know what the weirdest part of that whole story is? I remember the walk home. Do you know that? Remember the walk home. Why the hell do I remember the walk home? Because I just told you, on your wedding day, you might not remember the drive home. Wait, I remember the walk home on the day that I got my first ever Pokemon pack? Why is that? Why has Pokemon ingrained itself in me so weirdly? And then it wasn't like I stuck with Pokemon. I told you guys the story a million times. I got out of Pokemon. It wasn't until I was alone, shuttered away from my family, my friends, in a state thousands of miles away, in a room by myself, in a man camp, in between, jobs, just sitting in my room. On eBay, on my Sony Vaio computer that I used in college. My grandfather bought me that Sony Vaio in 2006. That was like my freshman year of college. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. My mom didn't have a lot of money. And, my grandfather, he brought me the Best Buy. Well, I was still driving at the time because I was old enough. I had my license senior year of high school. I drove to Best Buy. He drove with me. And, he bought me a Sony Vaio computer. And then I had that Sony Vaio computer for all 4 years of college. And then had it for like a couple years right out of school. I mean, that thing it struggled though. And, just being in that man camp, turning on that Sony Vaio and going on to eBay for whatever magical series of events that had to have happened where I just did not pull that Raichu. That's it. That is my re-emergence, my re-entrance into this hobby. Was just not pulling a stupid, unlimited holo Raichu out of all the cards in all the world. I pulled the Charizard, I pulled the Blastoise, I pulled the Venusaur, I still got my collection, but I didn't pull this dang card. And because of that, I went on my computer and I bought a couple on eBay. And just buying a few cards trickled and then cascaded into the shell of a human being you see right now before you, who is going all in, balls deep on Pokemon. And still to this day, I never pulled that Raichu. I never pulled it. And Saturday, we're going to be doing a base set booster box break. I just told you my mom didn't have a lot of money. She would buy me some packs. I was very lucky. My mom would give whatever she could for me. But I never, a booster box, forget about it. Like, the most I ever saw a booster box would be like at the store. The thought of owning a full box of cards is such a foreign thought. Where now, like, every kid could open up booster box. I shouldn't say every kid, but a lot of kids are opening up booster boxes. It wasn't like that when I was a kid. You were lucky a couple packs. And this whole weird journey is all gonna finally circle its way back to Saturday night. And when you do stuff in this hobby, when you do stuff in life, every single decision, every single step you make along the way, everything you have ever done in your life kind of just leads to whatever you are doing right now. Like, everything you've ever done has led up to this moment. Right now, in this point, in this exact moment, when you are listening to my voice or watching me speak, your entire life has became this moment. And on Saturday, when I'm sitting here behind this same camera, sitting in this same chair, probably not wearing this same hat, but I'll be sitting in the same chair on Saturday night. My entire life will have accumulated to that exact moment. And I hope, and I pray, and I wish that I will be given the luxury and the privilege and the honor to be able to pull somebody that Raichu. And I'll have finally completed this goal in my life that I didn't even know I was trying to complete my whole life. But everything I've ever done from now until that moment will have led up to that exact second. Isn't that crazy? Life is weird. We talk about fickleness in this hobby. A lot of fickle people in this hobby, a lot of fickle collectors and investors and everybody in between. But life is fickle. Life is fickle, huh? It's weird. Call it fate, call it destiny, call it whatever you want. But what a way to kick off my new journey. I got 1 week left in my old job. Tomorrow is Friday, so I still got that, and then I have all next week. I'll do whatever I have to do to train people to. I no hard feelings, and the company didn't do anything wrong. I just told you they gave me everything I ever wanted. Unfortunately, sure, you could go through the story of it sucks that you gotta leave in order to get what you want, but whatever. That's a whole nother story. That's another story as old as time as well. But I'll do whatever I gotta do next week. I'll be busy next week. Training people, trying to get people up to date, all my tasks, all my responsibilities, trying my best to hand those off to other people, which is maybe like a fault that I've always kept certain things that I did, always kept them very close to the chest, especially like some of the product lines and stuff, some of the services that we've offered. I built that service from scratch. I'm not going to get into too much semantics of what I did, but I took a lot of pride, a lot of ownership into what I did. And it's a tough transition. I mean, it is what it is. There's no hard feelings or anything. It's just, it is what it is. I'm moving on through a new journey in my life. But hey, that is life, huh? Your whole life, always there's always a carrot. Always a carrot dangling, right? Like, you're always going to chase that carrot. You might never truly catch that carrot, but as long as you could see that prize, and sometimes when you could just see the prize, that's enough. And that's a whole analogy of the carrot on the string, is you're never going to truly reach it, but as long as it's dangling there and you think there's that thought in your head that you could grab that carrot. You're just going to keep running after it. And maybe that's life, but, opportunities presented themselves in Pokemon. I saw the carrot, but the stick that was holding the carrot just seemed a little bit shorter, and all I had to do was just, for the first time, I just had to stick my arm out and reach for it. Where the whole time my whole life, I'd just been running after that carrot. And I never just stopped for a second to just kind of stick my arm out and just grab it. And now with Pokemon, I get to do that exact thing. I get to finally just stop running. And I get to just stick my arm out. And I get to grab it. And we'll see. Hey, if shit doesn't work out, I gotta go crawling back, whether it's my job I have now or another job in the industry, and go crawling back, and maybe I gotta start over a little bit, or start fresh, or maybe I won't be the experienced guy anymore. I'll be the new guy, and I'll have to work really, really hard to prove myself, and do all the normal stuff that you go through, like for a new job. And yeah, that will suck, and I'll probably lose out on a couple years of my life potentially, where instead of like having career growth and continuing to advance in my current career and get into higher titles and more pay and all the the fancy flashy titles that go with stuff, and I have to give up a lot of that stuff. But I kind of got to look at it at the pros and the cons. That is the con, where you're going to have to kind of start over a little bit. But if Pokemon works out, and the pros of Pokemon is I get to wake up every day, or potentially for the rest of my life, or at least for the rest of my working years. I get to wake up now every day. I get to go into the grandma's basement, and I get to be surrounded by the things I love the most besides my family. I mean, how many hours of YouTube or videos have I made? How many thousands of hours of content exist of me just talking into the void, talking about a passion of mine, something that I love? Now I might actually be able to live off that. I might actually be able to make that a career. I get to do something I love to do every day. How many people wake up every day and they go to a job they hate? For me, every day I woke up and it was 30 minutes to work, 30 minutes home. Tomorrow I'm driving to another state. It's a 4-hour drive, 2 hours there, 4 hours, or 2 hours there, 2 hours back. I'm gonna be in my car for 4 hours tomorrow. Just trying to wrap up stuff, trying to stay busy. Well, not really. I'm just staying busy, but yeah, that's my day. That's 4 hours of my day is just gone into the void of nothingness. I mean, I talk into the void of nothingness a lot on this channel, but at least I'm talking about something I'm passionate about, something I care about, and I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to just drive for 4 hours. Hey, you know what? If you guys like this channel, you're going to see a whole lot more of me. We're bringing back the edited videos. We're bringing back the memes. We're bringing back way more live streams. We could have way more emergency live streams. We could have guests on this channel again. I'll have my time back. Time is precious. I talk about it all the time. Only person in this history of this hobby who's undefeated is Father Time. Time is precious. I'm going to get my time back. And I'm going to still have to work, and I'll still have to put the hours in, but I'm going to get so much time back. It's going to be so refreshing. It's going to be so nice. And how long does this boom last for? How long does this hobby last for? Is it just a blip on the radar? Because, man, I would have said the same thing maybe in 2020. Here we are 5 years later, and we are stronger now than we've ever been. I look at the hobby, I look at the demand, I look at the hype, I look at everything that's going on. There's a lot of bad actors right now going on in this hobby that I don't think have the hobby's best interest in mind at all. They just have the quick dollar, the flipper dipper, and The one thing about flipping is that second part is dipping. So the flippers will flip, but then when the market downturns, they're just dipping. Flip and dip. That's all it is. Oh, shoot. I'm Grisky. Appreciate the super chat, buddy. That is super, super generous of you. Yeah, I'm Grisky. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much for that. But you guys are why I do this too. Making videos, man. You know, the funny thing is like I just told you, like, I'm gonna get everything at work. I'm respected at work. Like, I'm way more known because of this channel than I'll ever be through my job. You know, my company has, you know, a couple hundred employees, and like not everyone, and I'll be honest with you, every single person that works for us does not know my name. But when I walk into a Collecticon, or right now, I mean, there's about as many people watching this video as like at my job. You know, it's I get to grow. I want to grow the YouTube channel too. I want to grow the live streaming. I want to grow, you know, my PSA graded subs. I want to grow what I'm doing with Dan on Fanatics. I'm gonna help, you know, kick off, and we're gonna help to lead to eBay Live too. We're gonna spread out. We're not gonna just, you know, you run the risk of like if one platform fails, now you got all your eggs in one basket. But like, it's not gonna just be Fanatics for us. It's gonna be eBay Live, and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And I got a big buffer. I got a big, you know, lead just because of the product that I own. Forget any of Dan's stuff. It's just like what I have. I haven't had time to sell any of it, and I didn't have time to sell it into this crazy hype market we have, and it's all just been sitting there. And when you start to look at the prices, and you're just like, wait, what went up? How much today? This went up, and it's not. This hobby is not individual items. It's across the board. It's that old saying, and some people hate it, but I love it now. Rising tides lift all ships. Everything's going up. And it's not even just going up in... This hobby's irrational, too. And you know what? I'm irrational now, too. But listen, a little secret for you. We'll sprinkle a little food for thought for you. I've never not been irrational. I've always been irrational my entire life. Come on. You guys have been watching me talk for long enough. The fact that there's still people out there that think I'm like this eternal bear of the hobby, like I'm not a bull whatsoever, those people are just, to shout out to the Spicy Boys, they are smoking the finest of all the dust for people that don't think I'm bullish on this hobby. But let's go to old Jim right here. We got old Jim from Z&G. Let's just, let's talk about this. Remember this? Remember berries? Remember this? Do these break $1,000, right? So this is 12 days. So at the time recording this, or this was 3 days ago. 12 days ago, he put this as a post. Do these break $1,000? Charizard EX SIR $775, Bubble Mew $750. Confirmed paid. 12 days later. 12 days later. 970, 1020. 775 to 970, and 750 to 1020. I mean, this isn't an irrational market. This is not rational, but hell, sign me up there, Buttercup. I'm all about this. Z&G wrote, less than 2 weeks after that post, we are now around the 1K mark for both of these cards. Insane. Both confirmed paid via his eBay and consignment service. This has to be the top right. We are actively accepting more consignments. Consigned today. If you guys do consign through Z&G, do put a card in that says PK sent me, and maybe James will hook you up with a little something, little kickback for you. If you guys tell James I sent you. James was my first ever person that even kind of sponsored me. Shout out to James. That's why James will always I always shout James out. James is the first person that ever, you know, for me, shouting out his service. Just because it was a service that I've used in the past. Something that I care, because I like people that I can trust in this hobby. I like people that are going to stick around. Well, James, he'll stick around. Dan Catch 'em All Collectibles, he'll stick around. Rusty TCA Gaming, my man Rusty's never had a job in his life. He did like a little bit of work for a guy one time, but Rusty's never had he's never been W-2'd by a company. Think about that. Rusty, never been W-2'd. Been doing Pokemon his whole life. Think about that. Rusty was in college and he figured out if he can make like $20 a week from Pokemon cards. That's how it started for Rusty. There's a lot of folklore about Rusty now, but he was just in college and he, picked up a couple cards, picked up a couple binders, and realized like if he could grind it out, making $20 a week on Pokemon cards, that's enough to like pay for food in college. That was it. 2008, 2009. Going to school for math. I wanted to be a math teacher. Fast forward a couple years later, and my man runs a multi-million-dollar Pokemon business out of his grandma's basement. This hobby is special, man. I quit my job. Person that I'm, my partner in this, or one of the huge factors that's we're going to make this possible. Hopefully we're going to grow something is Dan. Dan was a chemical engineer. All these STEM jobs, all these math and science jobs, it's just... I don't know. Maybe I'm making a big mistake, but I don't think I'm making a big mistake. I don't do anything without thoroughly thinking it through. But, yeah, listen, this is what's going to happen on Saturday night. We're going to go live on YouTube, me and Mr. Dan Catch 'em All Collectibles. And, yeah, we'll be sitting here in the grandma's basement. We'll be chatting with you guys. We'll be fielding questions. We'll be bullshitting, doing what we normally do. Maybe we'll show off that base set booster box. Maybe we'll just kind of reflect on stuff. Who knows? I don't know. We're going to let the chat decide. Usually I do my PK normal rants and then I go read the chat. Trust me, guys. I see a lot of you guys out there. I'm going to definitely go read the chat after this. But me and Dan are going to be right here. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that Saturday night. And then as soon as we are done on as soon as we are done on YouTube, we're going to funnel everybody right over into the Fanatics Live. And if you guys want to come in and support me, if you want to support Dan, like, you're more than welcome. If you want to bid on one of those packs, if you guys have a PSA membership, you have $60. If you have the $150 a year tier, that's $60 in Fanatics Live credit. If you have the $199 a year PSA membership, you get $125 in Fanatics Live credit, which I'll do my little PSA rant in a second. The fact that it's now cheaper to submit cards through GameStop than it is if you have a PSA membership, that's not good. We'll talk about that. That needs to change. Like, membership should be at least the same as sending cards through GameStop. That's stupid. That's my rant. I don't like that one bit. But, and then also in the description of this video, if you see, there is a referral link for Fanatics. Sign up, make an account, you get $25 free. And if you are there for our live and you don't purchase anything from the time you sign up till our live, we have a code CATCHEM20 that is good for $20 off your first purchase. So that's $125 through your PSA membership. That's another $25 for signing up through our referral link. That brings you to $150, and then another $20 on top of it for your first ever purchase by using the code CATCHEM20. That is $170 in free credits for you. I can't give back much to you guys, like, from a dollar standpoint. Like, I mean, there's 140 plus people watching this right now. I can't go and just give each one of you guys like money. And especially I can't give each one of you 140 plus people $170 each. Like, I can't do that. But, we could at least do that because it's not me giving it out. It's just Fanatics, or it's all that Fanatics Live credit. Take advantage of it. Don't let it go to waste. I've heard of people that already had their memberships renew this year, and their old credit expired. They didn't use it fast enough. Use it. It's free money. Free money. Use free money. Free money's good, and if you don't buy anything else on the platform ever again, fine. Just don't let free stuff go to waste. And then if you guys do want to buy in a pack or something, you apply that $170 credit. Well, you won't be able to apply the $20 credit to auctions, but you can either way. You can apply like over $100 in credits to your purchase, and they'll probably offset the price of a pack. And maybe I'll get the Open Your Ride Chew. That'll be awesome. And there's going to be a lot of high-end slabs too. Dan, Mr. Pikachu with the gray felt hat, just like you got PK with the gray felt hat. We're going to have, so if you guys are interested on Saturday, like things we're going to have Worlds cards up. Not Worlds full art trophies, but like the World promos and stuff. Those will be up there. We got a Garantina V from Lost Origin, PSA 9. Pikachu with a gray felt hat and a PSA 10. Pikachu with a gray felt hat and a CGC Pristine 10. A half art Mario Pikachu in a PSA 10. Lost Origin booster box. There's so much stuff. There's like 100 plus high end on. We're only doing higher end items. So higher end is probably like easy baseline for you. Just probably $50 in greater items. Keep in mind, it's going to be a lot though. We're going to auction off a bunch of items in between, and it's going to be a fun stream. And and you know what? If 20 people show up to the stream, then we're probably going to get smoked. Because if you don't know about us, is people could call us scammers or call us whatever they want because we're, selling on a live streaming platform. I'm going to give you a little food for thought, a little sprinkle for you. Our pack prices are high. We're very clear about that. You see our buy, and you can go to Dan's website, see exactly what we're paying for packs. You can go on the stream. You can see what we're selling them for. Dan has to make a margin. I have to make a margin as a streamer, and then we have to pay the platform the fees. There's probably not as much as you guys think being made, but either way, call us what you want for that. But auctions. Did you know that on Fanatics we have never auctioned off a single item and started the auction at greater than $1? So call us scammers all you want, but we have never started an auction at greater than $1. There's a lot of people that are afraid to auction, so they'll start the auctions with like a start minimum. So they'll have some really crappy low-end shit, and it'll be like some CDC 9 of some bulk card, and they'll start the bidding at like $15 because they're just guaranteed to make money at that point because it's a card that's cheap. It's a wash at cost to grade him because you hit a CGC 9 on some bulk card. It was 10 or bust. You didn't hit it. You hit a 9. They put a buy it. Now it's 15. They're going to get their money no matter what. Not us. That Mario half art Pikachu in a PSA 10 is a greater than $1,000 plus card, and we're going to start at $1. We do that with every card. So that is one thing, call us what you want. Every auction we've ever ran on this, we're going to have a Lost Origin booster box up. That's going to start at $1, I got scratch packs too. I got a whole box. Not a whole box of scratch packs, but I have a scratch pack. We're going to have like 3-pack blisters. I got team-up packs I pulled out. All kinds of stuff. Every single item we ever auction off, starting at $1. Dan bought that base set booster box for $17,500. He talked about it multiple times on his live. I think I mentioned, but $17,500, that box. There's 36 packs inside that box, and we are going to auction off every single pack starting at $1. You can get destroyed, That'll be a hell of a way to start, like, kind of going more full-time Pokemon is just losing our ass on a, $17,000+ booster box. But every pack could sell for $300. Every pack could sell for $200. And you pretty much lose 50% of your money right off the rip. And that Mario Pikachu can sell for 60% market. And that Pikachu with a gray felt hat could sell for 60%, and that pristine Pikachu with a gray felt hat could all sell for low, and we could just get wrecked. But whatever, it just is what it is. That's what we're doing. It's a commitment we've made. I've been very lucky. I've associated myself with people in this hobby that I trust, that I think have the hobby's best interest, but also has their best interest in mind. That's just how this cookie crumbles, which is this Pokemon hobby. It's just is what it is. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, and hopefully sum of all parts, you come out stronger at the end than you did going in. And that's all I could ask for this hobby. That's all I could ask for, I guess, for life. That's all I could ask for this new journey of mine. It's funny. It's like it's like the Pokemon song. I guess sometimes you're just traveling far and wide. I don't know. What helped bring me to the decision, though, right? So I imagine myself standing on a pier, and that pier is just kind of going out into the water, and I'm just kind of like gazing out into the horizons, right? I look into the horizons and I say, well, what's out there? What's coming? And for Pokemon, it's just, in the very near term, it's Journey Together. And then it's Glory the Team Rocket. And then we are nipping right on the heels of the 30th anniversary. And reprints, if whatever reprints we do get right now, in my opinion, I think are going to have very little effect on the overall hype and demand of this market. I look out into the horizon. I don't see one single gray cloud ahead. I see nothing but clear skies, and that water is like glass. And the sun is sparkling, and it's almost like looking at a mirror as I gaze out across that on that pier, gaze out across that water into the horizon. And I don't see anything. Calm seas ahead. Welcome to Pokemon, huh? Welcome to PK's channel. Welcome to the inner, deepest, darkest thoughts, which is this hobby. The dark thoughts, which are PK's mind. Conscious streams of thought. Sometimes verbal diarrhea is probably good verbiage. But, hey, here we are. Here we are. What do you guys think is next? Like, rationally, I mean, I see the naysayers, like the naysayers still exist. We'll always be right till we're wrong, I guess. I mean, why do people say that saying? You're always right till you're wrong. Well, I'm willing to be wrong. A lot of rights, a lot of wrongs, like in your life. This midlife crisis of Pokemon that we're going through, man, this Pokemon hobby is, it's figuring shit out right now. There are people right now buying into certain products that they are going to get just smashed in the face by like a Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's not even cocking back and punching. It's like Mike Tyson is running across the ring and just crow hops just a punch to some of these people's faces. That's gonna happen, but hell, who knows when that's gonna happen? I mean, we've seen it. Like, there will be reprints of some of this stuff. Now, we're gonna give a litmus test to this hobby in the very, very near term. We will see reprints of Surge and Sparks. We will see reprints of Prismatic Evolutions. These are not questions of if we see reprints of this. It is a definite. Listen, Pokemon did not put out a statement saying we're printing more Prismatic Evolutions to not print more. Like, just, I promise you, more is coming. But how much is too much? I mean, we've kind of seen it before in the past. We've seen it with the Vivid Voltage and the Chill and Rain, and we've seen it with, we've seen what big reprints can do on markets that are built by hype and unsustainability. Vivid Voltage at $280 a booster box, unsustainability. Shining Fates at $120 pre-order prices, creeped up to $150 at release, unsustainable prices. But you cannot have $280 Vivid Voltage booster boxes. You cannot have Shining Fates $150 ETBs unless you got a buyer on the other end of those. It doesn't work that way. The math doesn't math in the sense that if you only have sellers and you don't have buyers, and that is not a price point, but that was a price point. And the buyers, yeah, they get smoked. Now, what happens in this hobby, right now in this market is different though. There's a lot of demand, there's a lot of hype. Like, what does it take to get Prismatic down to MSRP? Fuck, it's a lot. It's a real lot. It's like make-believe numbers right now. Whatever we saw for Prismatic, I mean, every game store got a couple. Definitely wasn't what they wanted, but they got a couple. Every single online retailer got a couple. All the big guys got a lot. There was a lot of Prismatic that went out. I know a lot of people are saying like Prismatic was short printed. Get the fuck out of here. It was not short printed. It's just it was spread out. Everyone got a piece. And you know what? Not only did everyone get a piece, everyone got to sell it for whatever they wanted. The unfortunate is you wanted Prismatic, you just couldn't find it cheap. Maybe if you got in certain websites, certain pre-orders, yeah, you can get it in cheap. But at release, it was just, this is the hobby. The hobby. This is the market. It's take it or leave it. You want it or not. You want to wait for the reprints? They're coming. They'll be here in a while. Like, do you want it? Do you want to pull an Umbreon at release? Well, guess what? You're not going to do it unless you got a bunch of pre-orders in. Did you get lucky on Pokemon Center? Listen, I got my 2 Pokemon cases. FYI, they did come ship sealed. Hopefully you guys took my advice. All you need, a little hair dryer. Just really work that thermal label. I know they stick the label right over what it is. Get a hair dryer. Just, time, patience. I know patience is not things people have. Just time, patience. Yes, you're gonna have a pink Crayola Band-Aid on. Maybe you're gonna burn your finger a little bit. Am I saying that what happened? I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm not saying that's not what happened. Maybe I burned my finger on a hair dryer. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Maybe I did with a lot of cardboard. Maybe it's a paper cut. We'll never know. But either way, take your time. Use your wife's hair dryer. Just peel it off. It's going to come off, and it's going to be super sticky. And that's just what it is. But guess what? You're going to have a nice sealed case if you're lucky enough to get the pre-order for. And I'm super excited to see how those cases work out in the long term. I think right now at release, there's still a little bit of a learning curve to those cases. You would be very surprised at how many people hear sealed cases and they're like, Pokemon Center only had a pre-order limit of 2. There's a lot of people don't even know that there was a moment of time when those pre-orders were dropped that you could actually pick up the limit of 4. And by being able to pick up the limit of 4, you got a sealed case. There's a lot of people don't even know that's a thing. So there will be a learning curve that takes place in that. But now this is one of those things. I don't ever see Prismatic Evolutions being restocked on Pokemon Center where there is a order quantity limit of 4. I think we will always see 2. If we do see a restock, which maybe we don't, but if we do, I don't think we see 4 again. So in that case, I don't think we ever see a sealed case again. So if you have a sealed case, please don't open it. Please keep that baby sealed. And right now you're already starting to see a little bit of a premium. But figure out what you want to do with it. I know what I'm doing with it. I got 2 sealed cases and I stuck them in the grandma's closet. Like, that's where they went. I'm not opening them right now. I'm just going to kind of just see how it plays out. Be careful. Yeah. But it's tempting. Did you see raw prices of Pokemon Center EV promos? Not graded, not first to market PSA 10s, just raw prices. Crazy. We booming. Listen. We booming. You understand that? We are living in the boom of booms of booms. We will talk back on this. I don't even know how we'll look back on this. I don't know how we'll talk back on this. Maybe the same way we talk back on 2020, but it's different today. I know a lot of people say that. I'm just fucking parroting what everyone else says, but it's different. It's so much different. We're seeing everything go up again. Make sure you guys are, buy or buy, sell or sell. No one ever went broke taking profits. We booming. All right. That's the point. That was my 54-minute PK rant to start it off. Got number 1 mod in the game, Drew. If you guys do have any questions, I will do my way to work to the bottom. IDK said, everyone hit the like button. Wreck-It Roush says, wonder if PK's audio will be on this time. Can you imagine if I was just ranting for 54 minutes? E4 Relk says, the hobby is going through the hobby. LOL, I barely remember my name. Yes. I don't even remember my actual government name. I'm just PK now. Alex in Silverland said, what is the first time you felt deep pain as a child? What was your first nickname? Hug that kid. Yes. Let's see. Alex in Silverland says, I feel like my memories are really happy or really sad, like times I got pulled out of NPC behavior or possession or something as a kid. What was it like when my mom... Oh, come on. Alex said, what was it like when my mom burned my siblings' Pokemon binders? I don't have any attachment to the cards at all, but I remember feeling really sad for my siblings with how upset they were. Alice in Silverland. That is a crazy memory if your mom burned your siblings' childhood binders. Wow. So Melanie said, the difference is that today... many parents are raising their children to love Pokemon along with them versus in the 90s when our parents didn't care. Yeah. Mela, yeah, kind of go to Alex's comment, like, my kid could probably do some pretty bad shit in the future. I don't think I'd be burning his childhood binder, you know? I think it would be more scarring on me than him because I'd be as emotionally attached to that. But, yeah, that's a great point. I mean, Pokemon is becoming cross-generational. We are planting the seeds of a lot of kids that was us in 99. Or maybe if you're a little later, in 2003 or 2006 or 2009 or 2012 or whenever the heck you got back into the hobby, we are just planting those seeds now. And, you know, the right amount of soil and the right amount of water and the magic that is photosynthesis, we're going to get to watch these little seeds grow into, who knows? Yeah, it's a new breed of collector. It's a new hobbyist. It's a new enthusiast. It's, maybe, one of the things I've been trying to do, very, very, what's the word I'm trying to look for? I've been doing this very, very consciously. I think that's a good word, is I've been taking photos of my kids holding certain Pokemon packs. And I'm doing it in a conscious way because I think that in the future that they'll be able to look back and be like, oh my God, look at that 5-row box that I was helping my dad sort. And that 5-row box is full of Lost Origin. You know. I mean, I guess that's impressive, but it's not impressive. But in the future, I'm wondering if my kid will look back on that and be like, Dad, look at all these packs you had. Look at these sets. 151, Pokemon Go, Paradox Rift, Astral Radiance, Shining Fates, Scarlet and Violet Base, Crown Zenith. Wow, Temporal Forces, Stellar Crown, Vivid Voltage, Astral Radiance, Darkness Ablaze. Wow, Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies, Obsidian Flames. Dad, look at all those packs you had of all these vintage sets. And I'll be like, well, son, at the time, Obsidian Flames was not vintage. Well, technically it was vintage because everything Scarlet and Violet older is vintage. But for a little bit of semantics, yeah, son, it wasn't vintage at the time. He's like, look, I was standing next to all this stuff. I don't have photos of that like that when I was a kid. I would love to have photos like that. For a little PK, when he's grown up, he has all those photos. And I made the conscious decision to take some photos of him, like, helping me in the grandma's basement, breaking down cards. All right. Evil Carda says, today made 2K with Prismatic. Congrats on that one, buddy. Pokechef said, new Happy Meals, same hat, let's go. Oh, yeah. We already, I didn't go, like, McDonald's Happy Meal hunting this time. Tom B said, hello, chat and PK. Hello, Tom B. So Evil says, I'm a collector that know how to... Shout out the Professor Oak. I'm a collector that knows how to flip to grow the collection. Other people should stop crying and act. Yeah. As long as you're flipping, you're not going to get caught holding the bag. Let's see. Let's see. Mela said, did anybody else buy multiple Umbreon Darkrai tag teams from Unified Minds, Espeon, Deoxys promo boxes during Sun and Moon? I have like 4 copies of each in the Espeon and Umbreon promos. People are just talking about what they did. And Tap's like, you did what? And I got to the point in the chat where I told everybody I put my 2 weeks in. Curtis said, congrats. Evil Card says, it makes sense, PK. Yeah, Tap said, oh my god. Evil Card says, I'm still doing both. Robert said, congrats, PK. Tap said, that's so scary. Yep. Mr. John Doe, good to see you. Said, let's go, PK. Congrats, yeah. Number 1 mod in the game said, that's huge, PK. Congrats on the great news. I know you'll do awesome. I'm hoping it's gonna... Content is going to be a piece of it. You're not going to see anything next week. I'm telling you, I'm busy with my final week. But, yeah, it's going to be... I'm going to have time again. I'm going to get my time back. People are talking about some of the dollars that they're putting out right now. Garen M said, congratulations to you, PK. Garen, appreciate it, buddy. Travis Bell said, best thing he ever did was quit his job and start his own company. Yep. I got to the point where Pokin' Fun gifted the 10 memberships. Number 1 mod gifted the 10, number 1 mod gifted the 20 memberships. Appreciate you. People are trying to get their memberships. Then we got to the point where Tap gifted 10 memberships. Tap, I do appreciate you. Let's see. We got PokeKid in the chat. Said, what up, PK? What up, PokeKid? Hopefully I see you guys all Saturday night for that base set booster box. We will be on Fanatics Live. Me and Mr. Dan Catch More Collectibles. We will be live on this channel first. Mela said he bought a whole bunch of the Munch Collection PSA 10s for around $600 at release. Yeah, that's a good buy. I mean, the Munch promos were $20. You know, I mean, the Mimikyu is always a little bit more money. But you could pick up those Scream Pikachu, or like the Screams. Maybe not the Pikachu, but definitely like the Psyduck and the Eevee you could pick up for around $20-25 at release. Look at those babies now. To the moon. Mario Pikachu boxes, $100 at release. You know, I remember people were doing $100 pre-orders, and then right after so that was $100 for pre-orders. Then right at release, it was like $120, and everyone thought they were millionaires off those Mario and Mario Pikachu boxes. Mela says, I'm 34, still have my childhood binder coated with stickers. Yep. Let's see. Anam said, did he kick PokeRev from a Skype call on YouTube live stream? Did I kick PokeRev? No, I never kicked PokeRev. I haven't talked to Nick in a while. Sonogala said, shout out to anyone who's here since the channel was faceless. Yes, this is a channel built on memes. I'm just a walking, talking meme. It is what it is. Got everyone drop in the... if you guys just got gifted a membership, make sure you guys drop an emote. Let's see. E-Relk says, we need that felt hat PK card. Yes, just saying. Basic Trainer said, huge congrats, PK, and giving you a big hug, homie. Basic Trainer, appreciate you, bud. Basic, sometimes you just gotta chase your dreams, man. No matter how scary it is. It's scary. I'm scared. I told I'm very lucky. My wife supported. I told her, I'm like, nah, maybe I made the wrong decision. She's like, you didn't make the wrong decision. She's like, you're doing what you want to do. She supported me. She's wouldn't be possible without her. I'm telling you guys. And you know, she's just like, no, you're making the right decision. You're doing what's right. She said, you're doing what's best for you. She's like, you like it, right? I said, yeah, I like it. She's like, yeah, that's it. That's it. It's a good enough answer. Sometimes you gotta like what you do. I like it. Zard Life 1989 said, just snipe some more Prismatic thanks to the old Rattle Discord. If you guys are not in the Rattle Discord, make sure you guys subscribe. Has Rattle released it yet? Do you guys know that Rattle's Discord now has the ability to know how many items are in stock on Pokemon Center? I don't know if Rattle's officially rolled that out. I know Tap's in the chat. I'm not really blowing up their spot. It's just right now they're trying to figure out the logistics of it. How to get it in an more user-friendly, where like you can see current stock. So like current stocks of Battle Styles booster boxes, Astral Radiance booster boxes, or Astral Radiance ETBs. Man, shout out the Tap, shout out the Rattle Pokemon. I keep getting like, they're Astral Radiance on his way out of Pokemon Center. I wouldn't be surprised if it's sold out already. I mean, the amount of Astral Radiance that is moving right now currently on PokemonCenter.com is so much. And we're talking huge numbers every day. There was a lot of supply of Astral Radiance, but man, we're eating through it fast. And Astral Radiance, I have not checked it in the last 2 days, but I wouldn't be surprised if Astral Radiance was sold out right now. I can actually look instead of just talking. See, Pokemon Center, Astral Radiance. It is... Our website is currently undergoing maintenance to serve you better. Please check back later. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, that's interesting. Are we about to have a little Prismatic Evolutions drop going on? Let me share this screen right here. How many times have you guys clicked on Pokemon Center and seen this screen? Scheduled maintenance, huh? Interesting. Interesting. I wonder what you would be scheduling for a Friday, huh? Interesting. Very, very interesting. Get the word out. Make sure you got your Rattle Discord notifications on. That screen is piquing my interest right now. Alright, you heard it now. You will have restocks of Prismatic products on Pokemon Center tomorrow, January 24th. 2025. You heard it here first. You will. You know why do I say that? Because I just saw Pokemon Center website is currently undergoing maintenance. Tomorrow, 1/24/2025. It is a Friday. Please put your notifications on. Please get ready. There will be drops, and people will say that it caught them off guard. But you heard it here first. James said, PK, congrats on putting in your 2 weeks. I wish you so much continued success in the Pokemon TCG space. James, I do appreciate that. It's super nice. James says, I want to be like you when I grow up. I'm Grisky says, you need to make longer videos. There's no such thing as too long of a video for me. PokeKid said, PK, just be able to wake up and spend some more time with the family and watch your kids grow up is the best. Yeah. John Doe said, Norm said, doomed. The end is tonight. I just had to do the clickbaity title. You know how it is. I'm Grisky. Got to the super chat, buddy, once again. Appreciate. Super generous. I'm Grisky said, love the content as a Pokemon business owner myself. I see myself in you. That is, I take that as a compliment, man. I appreciate that. We got the man, the myth, the legend. We got Mr. Eyeballs himself, Dan. Too tall for the Grandma's Basement collectibles. Dan, if you're hopefully watching this video, whether you're watching it real time or 2x on the next day, there is no heat in the Grandma's Basement. You better bring 2 things. You need 1, you're going to need a sweatshirt. Number 2, you might want to bring a winter hat. Number 3, if you have house slippers, Dan, bring your house slippers because this is a concrete floor. You can wear your shoes in the basement, but we have a no-shoe policy in the house. So, I mean, I guess you could walk in the basement with your shoes, so you'll be fine. But I recommend house slippers. I always got my old house slippers right here. This ground, it's a cold, cold concrete floor, about the same temperature as my heart sometimes. Very cold. So, Dan, make sure you dress accordingly for the Grandma's Basement, and especially the later at night. It does get cold. Heat rises, and there's no heat in the basement. Let's see. Pokebondo said, you, Jake, and Dan, and a few others have inspired me to start a podcast. Nice, man. Pokebondo, good luck on that one. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Pokemon podcasts are always fun. I love the long-form content. I make the content that I like to watch. I like to watch long-form content. Red's Card Case said, just got a PSA 10 on his secret rare Mewtwo alt art from Breakthrough. Congrats on that one, buddy. I'm Gritsky said, there are infinite plays in the market. Now is the time to get Brandon like PK. I guess I have Brandon now. I never really, Chad said, I assumed you met Dan in the oil field. Nope, didn't meet Dan in the oil field. Met Dan just through oily steaks. Yes, oily steaks. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Grisky says, getting product under market is easy. Selling is easy. Brandon is getting your face out there. Yeah, I mean, I definitely say if you guys are thinking about going full-time Pokemon or making it more into a business, you don't need to, but it definitely helps to have your face out there. At least definitely helps to have your name out there. Because when you do get to, I'm not going to call it the higher end of this hobby, when you're doing larger transaction, big figures, you're hopefully going to get to a point where people send you product first and you're not paying them until you verify said product. Now, people are not going to send you product, and the huge part of that is you are mitigating risk at that point, because the deeper you get into this hobby, the larger dollar amounts you are spending, and you are definitely putting yourself at more risk, and definitely like the ability of getting scammed. I mean, some people could potentially use you as an exit strategy if you pay them $100,000. $100,000 in this hobby is not impossible. 5 figures in this hobby is definitely not impossible. Like, we see 5 figures, the amount of 5-figure transactions, so that's $10,000+ a day, that goes on in this hobby is in the hundreds. There are hundreds and hundreds of 10-figure transactions going on, and if you could at least get your branding out, get your name out there where you don't pay until you have product in hand, you are definitely mitigating a lot of risk there. And, the only way you're going to do that, or you're going to be able to position yourself in a way that actually is possible, is the person that is sending you said product has to know that you got a lot to lose. Example, me and Dan. If somebody sends me and Dan a box with $10,000 worth of cards in it, and we decide to try to scam said person, well, what do we have to lose? Well, we have to lose a 7-figure business. So we scammed for low 5 figures to destroy a 7-figure business. You got to look. But then you might have somebody else who has a no business. You got to be careful. Like, you can't send them that much product. So that's one of the things nice about getting your face out there, is you help at least mitigate risks in that sense. And, Rattle's one of my good friends in the hobby. Rattle knows where I live. Rattle knows my government name. Rattle knows my address. Rattle could easily track me down, so I got to be careful. I'm not, doing any scams, but that is one of those things about getting your face out there, is you can be trusted a little bit more. And especially the more transactions you handle, the more dollar amounts you're moving, people are going to be able to see it, and they're going to be able to, it's just a risk other people are willing to take to trust you. That's huge. Drew said, yeah, $20 off your first purchase. Use promo Ketchum20. Yep, it's in the description on this video too. Chad Hall said, makes sense. Once I heard chemical engineer, I knew PK was a hand. Pokemon was alive and well in the patch. Seems like. So, Basic Trainer said, would Sunday night make more sense for a 20K box, considering how many people are out and about versus about Saturday night versus Sunday night? No. Saturday just works better for me and Dan. That is, I don't know if Sunday, that would be good. I mean, maybe Dan will have to do that in the future if we ever do open another box in the future. It would be hard, because then viewer base will grow, consumer base will grow. There'll be a lot of factors involved. But I think Saturday night's probably the most ideal night, especially in the winter, it being cold, at least in the Northeast. Then again, it's cold in Florida. Do you see how much snow Florida got? What the heck is going on? I heard like Pensacola got like a couple inches of snow. Pensacola, right on like that Orange Beach, Alabama / Florida, right on that border is where Pensacola is, and they got snow. You know, so a lot of people, it's probably cold. A lot of people may be staying in Saturday night. People are going to tune in for the live stream with me and Dan, and then people are going to funnel into the Fanatics Live, hopefully. Chill Phil said, sell in a bull market, buy in a bear market. Yes, indeed. And drink the beers in all the markets. So Yvette says, I want to auction some of my cards. They are all mostly 10s, but graded by a Korean grading company. How decent are my chances? Poor. They are not good. Look at, well, what you're going to have to look at what cards they are. If you think there are truly 10s, you're going to have to crack those babies and send them to PSA. I would not. The amount of money you in some cases will leave, it depends on the card, but you will leave hundreds to thousands of dollars on the table selling with the wrong grading company. Now, if they're really cheap cards, if we're just talking about like bulk Vs, some real cheap VMAXs where it's not even worth it to grade with PSA, then I'd say, yeah, just whatever, sell it with whatever Korean grading company you have. But yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, if we're talking any alt-arts, crack them. Unfortunately, like, I don't, how did that even happen? I mean, there's already like huge price disparities between like a PSA 9 versus a Beckett 9 versus a CGC 9. Now, I mean, well, you did say 10s, or so, PSA regular 10, a Beckett 9.5, or a CGC regular Mint Plus 10. Obviously, the pristine 10s are doing pretty well, but not even that's not across the board. But like, you see huge price disparities between those three, which are like three of the major ones. And then when you throw in like SGC to the mix, prices don't do really well, even in 10s. So now even SGC is a little bit more well established, but then you throw in a company like Ace, which is more established in the UK, has Randall Pokemon behind it. And then you start to like kind of trickle your way down until you get to like your Tree Frog gradings and your Mint grading and your GMA grading and your Diamond full service hand job grading, or whatever they're called. Like once you get down the rabbit hole a little bit to some of these guys, like the prices really, they fall off a cliff pretty quick on you. So I would just stay away from the Korean one. I'm Grisky said, bro, if I can interview you for my new channel, I'd love to have a 2-hour talk about Pokemon and be out of time to talk about more. Yeah, Gritsky, yeah, anytime, man. I'm always down to support other content creators. So yeah, if you ever want to have me on, just slide into my DMs, my friend. I'm Gritsky says, until Rocket, unless crypto crashes and the bros go out of the market, will be unstoppable. Japanese, Korean, Chinese, modern, vintage, whatever. For quick flippers who have a customer base, it's the best, yes. Busy Bee said, it's amazing to see your growth over the last 4 years. Yeah, just little PK hiding behind the memes. Popping my face out there. Let's see. I'm Gritsky said, for Prismatic, the biggest stores in the Netherlands only got 10 cases of ETBs from the main supplier max. Wow, that's rough. Especially for like the main stores, 10 cases. A lot of people are talking about Prismatic. Yeah, I mean, I literally told you what I'm doing with my Prismatic. I'm not selling those Pokemon Center ETBs. Now, if I was able to pick up a bunch, which I didn't have time to like check the Rattle Discord and do all the restocks, and I left a lot of money on the I got no time. Time. You hear me say time a lot. Had no time. I didn't have time to follow any of those restocks. I've just been so busy. And I'm going to have my time back. I'll be able to do that now. But yeah, if I had some product, I would probably break it down, cannibalize it. Especially if you, depending on how much you have, like you should at least, I would take some profits out of this market right now. especially on Surging Sparks. If you're sitting on Surging Sparks right now, I think now is there's no better time than today to sell on Surging Sparks. And if you have the ability to sit on that cash for a little bit, I would, if you want to buy Surging Sparks back. I think you definitely are going to have an ability to sell now on Surging Sparks today and buy in again later. So I don't know what that later price is going to be, but it will just be lower than whatever today's price is. And you'll be able to quickly identify. You'll be able to see pre-orders, and then right at release, you'll be able to see buying pressure. You'll be able to see demand. And if you see it's like, oh shit, I sold out of my Surgeon at 260, 270, and market only dropped to 230. Yeah, it's going to kind of be a little bit of a wash for you right there. But if you could pick up at like, you know, let's say the market really can't handle reprints well, and you see them drop all the way down to 160, 150, 140, and they go all the way back to where they started at pre-order. We get a huge supply. We get a Chill and Rain type Fusion Strike, you know, type restock where it's $95 booster box, which I find the least likely of all those scenarios. But either way, let's just say you have a huge drop. Then you buy in. You just see where the market is. I don't think you're going to see a restock and you're going to see prices higher than where you sell at today. That's all I'm saying. Now, it might, and unfortunately, I talk about how time is precious. The thing that you might lose out on is just going to be your time. That time it took you to sell and the time it took you to rebuy in. And if that's all you lose, like, hey, things could be a lot worse in this hobby. So Helder said he got 4 cases. Pokemon Company screwed me on the seal. 2 cut open the whole length, 2 in the middle, just to insert the pack and slip. That's interesting because my pack and slip was attached to the side. So, Poke Finance guy said PK rant over. The PK rant is never truly over. It's always somewheres. James from Alamo City said, do you think Evolving Skies hits 2K before the end of 2025? Yes. Let's check it out. Evolving Skies TCG player. Boom, boom. Let's share the screen. Let's see, where are we? Where are we now? Oh, baby. Let's see. Where? Ooh. Prices have gone down a little bit, huh? Maybe they haven't gone down. Why do I feel like the boxes were more? 350. Or, sorry, 1325. A lot of these, I hate loose packs. I wish we could just get rid of the loose packs. Yeah. $2,000's possible. I mean, we're just seeing the market. I mean, the way people are valuing Evolving Skies, the problem is Evolving Skies, it's just, with pull rates, prices for sealed product are just pulling so far away right now. I mean, let's look at the single. I mean, obviously, the Moonbreon, old Ray is doing great. You know what? Remember the Umbreon V? Remember when PokeRev said that this card was undervalued? This is a PokeRev right here. Market correction, and we're right back. So, you remember that? You remember the PokeRev pump? This was PokeRev's pump. April. PokeRev made a video telling he thought the Umbreon was overvalued. Phew. And then we bolted up, and then we had a little retrace, and here we are right back. This is a funny. When you turn the chart into this, it looks like we had this huge crash, but when you pull it out in the year chart, look at that. It's not, I mean, it's nothing. It's just the smaller the timeline you have. Oh, look, in the last month it did great. 3 months it had a weird thing. 6 months it did weird, and then here's PokeRev. Man, you imagine having the power PokeRev has? I mean, talk about wanting to manipulate the market. I don't think that's what PokeRev was doing with this card. I think he was literally just saying, hey, I think I like that Umbreon V. Holy shit, dicks. Look at this fucking thing. Alright, is this real life? Evolving Skies, a build in Battle Stadium, $300. I guess, I mean, it is 12 packs in it. I guess that makes sense. Holy cow. We booming. This can't be right. Okay, yeah, that I was gonna say. There we go. That makes more sense. Why didn't it show? Why didn't it show it at $75? Because I'll tell you right now, if there are 70, oh, no packs. God, I hate when they do that. Can you? How is that a thing though? Evolving Skies ETB no packs contains everything else is $75. Are we? This is not real life. This is fake. This is all fake. I mean, what the? $75 for just an empty. I've thrown away so many ETBs in my life. You don't even know. For those of you, like, there are just piles of ETBs that I've broken down recently, and I'm just, like, using them for shipping supplies. That scares me to know. I mean, I didn't really break down Evolving Skies ETBs, but I have cases of Paldea Evolved and Twilight Masquerade and Brilliant Stars and Chillin' Rain and stuff. Broke down a lot of those ETBs recently just for packs for live streams. Oh, clicked on the wrong thing. All right, where were we? We are back. We booming. We still booming. So James from Alamo City said Pokemon Center slap the shipping label over the PC label. Yeah, but all three cases. Yeah, just use a hairdryer. That's all you need. Heat that up. Let's see. Pony said, would you ever recommend opening tins if you know valuable packs are in it or store for later? For me, for tins, it depends on the tin. If you know that tin has got a reprint and that there are cheaper packs and like a variant of that tin. So great example would be like there was a Jolteon V, the Flareon V, and the Vaporeon V tin. I think originally you got one Sword and Shield base, one Rebel Clash, one Evolving Skies, and you got like a fourth pack of something. But then, then there was a reprint of those tins that had just trash packs in it. So most of the time, people will value your tins as the reprint tins. Or even, here's another good example. Like the Snorlax tins, the Snorlax and Eevee tins, the Pikachu and Zekrom tins. So like the Pikachu and Zekrom tin and the Snorlax and... oh no, sorry, it's Venusaur and Celebi, not Venusaur and Eevee. Venusaur and Celebi tin. I think I got the promo card somewhere close. So I still, some of this desk is still the PK's desk. Anything above it is the Dan's desk, but I still do have, I think I have, do I have the promo? Fuck, maybe I don't. Could be making shit up again. I swore I had one of those. Oh yeah, here. So like, you remember this card? The Venusaur and the Celebi, this came from the tag team tin. Now, the original tag team tin had like, it had some monster packs, and it was like 2 team up packs, a cosmic, well, that card's gone. 2 team up packs, a cosmic eclipse pack, and I forget what the other 2 packs were, but it was like a pretty good tin. And then the reprint tins had like Crimson Evasion packs in it. You know, it was pretty bad. So definitely got to keep, just like understand that. And so like a tin like that, people are going to pay a premium for it because it does have a, you know, great promos, whether it's the Pikachu and Zekrom or that Venusaur and Celebi. But they're not going to pay you the higher premium if they had like some sort of guarantee that it has those team up packs in and stuff. So now when it does make sense to keep tins sealed, if you know for a fact, like 100% without a doubt, that your tins are like the second waves, and then maybe people are still paying a little bit of a premium because they think that maybe there's a chase to it, then maybe it makes sense to sell them sealed. For me, I open a lot of tins. I almost never keep them sealed. Plus, I opened a lot of tins because I like to know for like my personal mental Rolodex, like what tins have the good packs in it. So sometimes like I'll catch it on eBay. I'll see somebody selling a tin that I know, like, while the tin itself got reprinted, it was like the newer variant of the tin, and you could able to easily identify the older variant. A good example would be like the Walmart tins, or not Walmart, the Walgreens tins. It was like the Gardevoir tins. If you look on the back side, it says VMAX or V Star, where like the older, even though it has a 2019 copyright date on it, it still says V Star, so you know those are the reprint tins. So you just got to be able to look at the back and see what the writing is. And you know, if the writing says X Moon and or XY, XY and Sun and Moon, you know that those are like the older tins opposed to the newer tins. Even though the copyright date says 2019 and the math ain't math and they have V Stars in there. So there are certain tins, it's like if you know what you're looking for, or any Pokeball tins. You know, I think right now we're seeing a lot of like what the A24 tins in it, but then it's like such a huge difference between a D24 tin versus a D21 tin. It's like D24, yeah, mediocre packs. D21, buy that shit instantly, you know? And then even like the older tins and stuff, then it starts to get a little tricky. But yeah, I've been able to pick up like XY packs relatively recently, especially like, I forget which one it was, but it was like a tin I picked up online, and it just, I saw the code of it, and I was able to scoop it up quick, just picking up a couple of extra XY packs. There's some older XY tins too. I'm not going to say the exact tins, like you guys could do the research, but there's a couple older XY tins that had like base set packs, so like base set. I got one of the tins over here. Oh no, I don't. There's like some of the older XY tins that have some XY packs in it, but if you get the right tin, they have legendary treasures in it, and the legendary treasures packs offset like a huge cost of those tins if you pick up the right one. It's just, you got to know, even for XY, it's like, okay, which packs does this have? Does this have the XY base and the legendary treasures, or is this the XY packs that has like, fuck, I don't even remember what the shitty packs are, but they're not great. But there was like a tin that was reprinted. All right, that was a tangent. Sorry about that. All right, I jumped to the bottom, scrolling back on up. People are talking about the tins. James has question: am I tripping for thinking about picking up a Pokemon Center ETB case for $1,400? You're not tripping, man, because I mean, I just told you I'm not selling at $1,400. So if I'm not, now I'm not a, this is where I should preach a little caution. I'm not a buyer either, though. So I'm not a seller, but I'm also not a buyer. I'm just kind of a holder at this point, where I'm kind of, because now it is easier to be a holder at $1,400 when your entry point is whatever. I think my entry point's like $255 after tax. So my entry point's $255, so it's a little bit easier for me to be a holder. But I mean, I don't hate it. Let's see. Now, this is where you're going to have to get into opportunity cost, too. $1,200 for a sealed Pokemon Center ETB case is a lot of money. What opportunity cost are you leaving? Could you do other stuff with that $124, or that $1,200, I should say. All right. James says, I picked up my Surgeon Sparks booster boxes, $102 a box. Yep, holding long term. That's one of those things. It's like, if you got low cost, low entry point. Al said, thoughts on e-reader reverse PSA 7s, 8s, and 9s. They seem criminally underrated and super low pop reports. Are tons of minted copies and binders or something? No. They're not. There's not a ton of them. Lower copies, rough. I mean, if you get it, see, that's the thing. Like, there's a huge arbitrage play on, like, a lot of these. So, like, Expedition, Aquapolis, Skyridge. I'm probably guessing those are the 3 e-reader sets you're really talking about. If you can get those in 7, 8s, and 9s, 9s I would keep in the slab, but like 7 and 8s, as long as they're clean copies, like just to crack those babies out of the slab and sell them as just near mint copies, you're going to get a huge premium, because you are going to get people chasing those 9s or those 10s. So, brings in the ethics of it. Like, how do you feel about it versus other people? Like, you're not a professional grader either, so. Let's see. Grisky's still talking about, just kind of talking about the nuances of the market for some of the other people in the chat. So PokeKid, so when I just showed that schedule maintenance, so if you guys are just tuning in right now, big news, breaking news right here on the channel. We got Pokemon Center scheduled maintenance. You heard it here first. Tomorrow, Friday, 1/24, January 24th, we will see a restock on PokemonCenter.com. You heard it here first. That is big news, breaking news. Neeb said, I bet it's more likely that they are implementing changes in the software to prevent bots. Neb, I will tell you something. When the bots were running rampant in 2020, 2021, and no one got product, everyone always asked, how the hell is it possible that Pokemon does not have a better website? Guess what? We're in 2024. People are still asking the same questions, still having the same conversations. Bots are bots. Bots are going to do what bots do best, and that is bot. Samuel said they're probably patching the ability to look at stock. Also possible. So Collector Binder said, where can I find a link to the Referral Discord? Right in the description of this video. I think it's like the second, no, it's the third link down. So go right into the description of this video, and you'll see a link to Mr. Rattle Pokemon's Discord himself. Let's see. Thrifty said she's freezing in Florida. She hates this. Thrifty, it was like 18 degrees outside today when I went outside. I think you'll be just fine. Kashmir says, so if I want to exit scam, I need a YouTube channel. It definitely would help on your exit scam. It would make it a little tough because your face would be out there and people would probably know your government name and where you live. So wouldn't it would be a tougher exit scam. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you would definitely be making it tougher on yourself, Kashmir. So my recommendation for exit scam would be Instagram. Go on Instagram, buy yourself a shitload of followers. Get yourself like 25, 30,000 fake Instagram followers. Get a lot of nice fake posts. Just copy and paste other people's cards that they are selling, cards that you don't actually own. Put them up as for sale, and then a couple hours later, put it as sold in your story. So a bunch of cards that you do not own, but you are just saying that they're up for sale, and then you magically sell them throughout the day until eventually a bunch of people start to trickle into your DMs as they start to see your stories and they start to follow you and they see all the high-end cards you sell. And then that's when you could do your exit scam. And then Instagram, they don't know your real name, they don't know your address, they don't know your face. That is why you got to be very, very careful with who you're trusting in this hobby. For an exact scenario like that, I'm literally describing the plot of about 100 different Rattle Pokemon videos that I've watched. And it usually goes down a lot like that. Or you could send your cards to somebody who can sign for you, and they'll ask you what the lowest you'll take is, and then you tell them, and then they sell it for higher, but only give you your consignment fee off of the lower dollar amount that they sold at, and then still make it think like they didn't do anything wrong. That is a good way to be in a Mr. Rattle Pokemon video. Elemental says, what time does Pokemon Center usually do drops? Like between 8 and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 5 a.m. your time, 4 a.m. your time. So Curtis says, would you rather have 4 Evolving Skies Pokemon Center ETBs or 1 Evolving Skies booster box? Because I don't have a lot of Evolving Skies Pokemon Center ETBs. I only have a couple, so I would probably want to stick with Evolving Skies box, or booster box. Especially because Evolving Skies Pokemon Center ETBs don't have stamp promos. Now, if Evolving Skies did have like an ETB promo, like Scarlet and Violet sets, crazy, to the moon. But we don't. Let's see. People are kind of giving their answer to that. A lot of people are saying they would like the 4 ETB cases because ETBs are rare. I mean, yes, but booster boxes, just people love them. Pokemon Center said, well, I sold an empty Phantom Forces ETB for $650 on eBay, so there's that. Okay. I do save all my open booster boxes, so when Dan comes here, I got like, Dan, Hey, so one day, I don't know, maybe one day I'll show you, I'll give you like a tour of the basement. Not right now, but it's just racks. So it's not that long. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, there's 6 racks over here, and then on the other side of my basement, like on the other side of the steps, there's another 3 racks. And they used to all be my shit, and I've cleared out all the racks, and now they're all either packing supplies or Dan's product. And I've put what used to be my collection in every nook and cranny that I could find in here. That's one of the huge reasons that I have not been selling product, because I've literally just piled up cardboard boxes, and I can't even access shit if I want to, which is, hey, hindsight being 2020, that was the smartest thing I ever did, was make my own product, my own collection inaccessible to me. Big brain in that. Didn't even mean to big brain that, just how shit worked out. Let's see. UK said, hey guys, I'm from the EU and I cannot use Fanatics with my EU phone number. I'd appreciate someone lend me his number for a PK stream so I can dump my PSA and Fanatics money. Got an address to ship. UK, a good way to do that is reach out to Rattle. Or ask, no, don't reach out to Rattle directly, but ask in the Rattle Discord, because like Rattle is in Canada, and you cannot buy from Canada with a Fanatics account. So like Rattle was able to set up a I don't know how he did it. Maybe he used PokeKids. I don't know. Either way. Pokemon Dentist said, happy for you, buddy. You'll do great things. Pokemon Dentist, I appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate Pokemon Dentist. Pokemon Dentist is the one that let me know why flamingos are pink. I guess because they eat a certain type of shrimp that makes them pink. Helder says, do you believe Pokemon that they had ramped up production the full capacity, or is it just PR? Well, I mean, that's the same thing that they always release. It's the same press release that they've copied and pasted a few times. Or do they ramp it up from 90% to 100 and it doesn't change anything? Well, we definitely know. I will give Pokemon credit. I mean, we know the cards year over year. They're printing billions more cards, because every year Pokemon releases their number. Now, it's a skewed number because its total numbers printed like 12 billion cards. Well, 12 billion cards can be a lot of things, and we don't really did a definitive answer. Like 12 billion cards can include every single packet of energy cards that you get with an ETB. Cards printed could be code cards. Code cards could be a lot of, or 11, 12 billion cards printed could be a lot of things, but we got to assume a lot of that is just like the regular main TCG. But that number is definitely increasing year over year by the billions. We're not talking by the hundreds or the thousands or the millions. That number is increasing by the billions. So Pokemon is definitely ramping up print. But the problem is I just don't think there's enough. There's just not enough. Pokemon's doing... The hobby is just too strong right now. Like, I mean, I'm surrounded by a lot of bulk, and more bulk than I ever had in my life. Like a bunch of 5-row boxes. Speaking of which, I gotta have to clean these up for when Dan gets here. I don't figure out where. I don't know where I'm gonna put them. Here's a question in the chat. How high can you stack a 5-row box before you really start to... Where's Mason? Mason from Cardinal Gaming. How many 5-row boxes can I stack up in a row before I really start to question the integrity of these things? These are engineering feats, though. So this pile is 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 13 5-row boxes fully filled to the gills. How many more? How much higher can I go? Or is there just no limit to 5-row boxes? I could just stack them to the ceiling. Maybe I'll have to do that. Kay said, late to the light, but I see PK in the hat, and I gotta say, let's go. Yes, PK in the hat. All right, guys, listen, I appreciate every single one of you. I got some shit I gotta do. It is, oh, wow, it was an hour and 43 minutes my little PK rant went on for. Just talking into the void, talking into the abyss, no, I'm joking. I'm talking to you beautiful people out there. Remember, you are beautiful. You guys all have beautiful souls. This is a beautiful hobby. We boomin'. We boomin'. As always, guys, appreciate every single one of you. And as always, I'll catch you on the next video. Hopefully I see you guys Saturday night when Mr. Dan Catch 'Em All Collectibles is right here. We will probably be going live on this channel. If I had the guess maybe between 8 and 8:30 we should be going live. So definitely make sure you guys check it out if you want to hear me and Dant rant together. All right, guys. Appreciate every single one of you. Be safe. Catch you later.